Now allow me to show you something completely different. Because the Democrats had a chance. They really did have a chance in that last election because there was one sane human being on that podium when they were having their debates. And they destroyed her. Not only did they destroy her, you know who I'm talking about already, Tulsi Gabbard, obviously, but Hillary Clinton claimed that she was working for the Russians. Mitt Romney, in the last month or so, claimed that she's working for the Russians and she's a traitor. This is Tulsi Gabbard, who was Congresswoman from Hawaii, Democrat Congresswoman from Hawaii, who is an active member of our military, which has been in training over the last couple of weeks. They completely destroyed her. I don't know where someone that is roughly sane fits in the modern Democratic Party. But Tulsi, who's now out of politics, and I don't know exactly what her future holds. I don't know if she wants to get into politics or not. She's still talking the truth, and she's still holding the sane line, which is very difficult as someone that I think still believes that they're on the left. Again, I don't want to speak for Tulsi. Here's a video she put up on Instagram over the weekend talking about HB 1557, otherwise known as the Don't Say Gay or Straight bill.
You may have seen in the news recently, or you may be a parent who's experienced how parental rights are under attack all across the country as the government tries to usurp parents' rights and responsibility to raise their own children. Now, we should all support the Parental Rights and Education Bill that recently passed in Florida, which very simply bans government and government schools from indoctrinating woke sexual values in our schools to a captive audience that is by law required to attend. But as I read the legislation, I got to tell you, I was shocked to learn that it only protects kids from kindergarten till third grade. Third grade? What about 12th grade? Or not at all? Now, government has no place in our personal lives. Government has no place in our bedrooms. Parents are the ones responsible for raising their kids and instilling in them a moral foundation, not the government.
Who seems more sane? Is it Jen Psaki? Is it Nancy Pelosi? Is it Joe Biden? Is it Kamala Harris? Or is it the lady that the entire party and the entire machine tried to destroy? What's extraordinary about that video, actually, well, first off, she's calm and clear and decent. Like, you can feel it, right? You can always feel it with her. But what's really extraordinary about that video is that what she's saying is, in essence, DeSantis didn't go far enough, that it shouldn't just be K through 3, that up until 12th grade, you should not be teaching this stuff in schools. That's a really interesting position to have. Now, we can have some discussion, I think, of what a health class should teach related to the body and puberty and all of the things that kids are going through. And I had a health class in 7th grade, but they weren't pushing gender identity stuff on us. They weren't telling you that you should transition from one gender to another and then try to hide that from the parents. So Tulsi just, I believe that was an intentional line, and that's a pretty powerful line that she's saying he did not even go far enough. So what's the theme now that we've come to almost the ending of today's show, although I want you to stick around for the cold close today. It's a good one. What's the theme here? Well, if you start with Elon Musk, you got a guy who most people think of as really just a technologist, an innovator, not particularly political, somewhat libertarian in some ways, but then, enjoys his government subsidies. But he will now be thought of as a right-winger, sort of, because he's trying to clean up things related to speech. And we know that it's the conservative side or the right that's having their speech stifled, okay? Then we jump all the way to Tulsi, and you have a Democrat congresswoman, former congresswoman, who is now in some ways related to this HB 1557, sounding more right-wing. That's not really the case, but more, let's say, conservative than even Ron DeSantis, who's being called a Nazi and everything else by mainstream media. This all shows you how insane the left has gone. And even bigger than that, I think what it shows you is what I'm actually really interested in right now, which is what will this alliance look like? How will we have an alliance of technologists like Elon Musk? How will we have an alliance of, say, more traditionally religious people, say like my evangelical Christian friends and an Orthodox Jew like Ben Shapiro? How do we couple that with someone, a refugee? I know a little bit about the refugees from the left, a refugee of the left like Tulsi Gabbard. All of us having wildly different personal religious beliefs, philosophies, all of those things, but all going, man, America's pretty good. Individual rights are pretty good. We want to build new things while they burn everything down. That's a great story. That's what I'm interested in. That's how I ended the show on Friday. That piece of now, okay, we've seen it. We've seen the thing. The curtain's back. We've seen it. You guys aren't going to stop. I get it. Department of Education is never going to stop. California is never going to stop. What do we have to do to disconnect from these people? And how can we find all of the people that can fit into our wide tent, which is exactly what America's all about? And that's what I'm interested in. I think that's what you're interested in. And that's what I'm going to keep furthering.